Ooh, that's quite the riddle. Grim and dark, yet hopeful nonetheless. Like some sort of GRIMDARK therapy. How does it work?
It comes down to a concept from the realm of modern psychology, a technique called... Greetings, brave travelers. It is I, the Wizard Inquisitor. I come to you via astral projection cast directly into your consciousness. Today, we venture into the grim darkness of the far future, the universe of Warhammer 40,000, a place where there is only war, a place where hope flickers like a candle in a hurricane, a place where heroic deeds are forged in the crucible of endless conflict. But our quest is not just about space marines and chaos gods. It's about the surprising truth that this gritty, grimdark franchise can actually do wonders for one's mental health.
Warhammer 40,000 is good for mental health? That seems as likely as having a tyrannid as a cuddly pet.
Aye, Sterling, my faithful familiar. At first glance it might appear preposterous, but let not the grim facade fool you, my friend. For even in the heart of this war-torn galaxy, there lies a hidden power. A power not of lasguns or chainswords, but of creativity, community, and purpose. As many of you know, Warhammer 40,000, commonly known as Warhammer 40k, is a tabletop strategy war game born of dice and lore. Players command vast armies of miniature warriors across sprawling battlefields, seeking to vanquish their opponents by winning objectives or achieving total military annihilation. But it is so much more than this. Players must first build their own armies, constructing their miniatures by hand and painting them to a standard worthy of glory, or at a minimum to a standard that says, hey, at least I tried. This involves true artistry and technical skill, and many hobbyists don't even end up using their works of art for tabletop play. They simply love the process of perfecting the craft of miniature painting.
Well, gee, Wizard, it sounds like the kind of thing artsy nerds would like. You can have fun gaming while also expressing your creative side.
Ah, Living Tome, my magical book of wisdom. You are exactly right. But the possibilities don't end there. For Warhammer 40k expands even further beyond the paintbrush and battle tactics. The game is set in a grim and sprawling sci-fi universe, composing epistolary lore, novels, video games, and hopefully a soon-to-be television series, courtesy of Amazon Prime. In this way, 40k is a hobby that calls to the tactician, the artist, and the storyteller alike.
Okay, but Wizard, I gotta ask, ain't the 40k universe just a bit too dark for good mental health? All that war and despair? Surely that's a bit grim for the soul.
Ah, Tome, you are wise to ask. Indeed, the galaxy of Warhammer 40k is one steeped in endless war. Its lore is drenched in sorrow and sacrifice. The average citizen lives a life of unending toil and danger, in constant fear of Xenos invasion, demonic possession, and accusations of heresy from their puritanical, fascist overlords. But here is the paradox. Despite this dark backdrop, or perhaps because of it, the hobby itself can be profoundly beneficial for one's mental health.
Ooh, that's quite the riddle. Grim and dark, yet hopeful nonetheless. Like some sort of GRIMDARK therapy. How does it work?
It comes down to a concept from the realm of modern psychology, a technique called behavioral activation. It hails from cognitive behavioral therapy, and is a powerful weapon against depression and despair.
Oh, I've heard about that before. Something about how our thoughts, feelings, and actions are all connected to one another, right?
Precisely. Simply put, behavioral activation is about doing things, purposeful, engaging activities that activate the mind and body. When we feel depressed, our brain convinces us that it is better to stew in that darkness, to sit still in despair and let our hope be consumed. But when we defy that dark urge and instead immerse ourselves in meaningful tasks, it stirs our brain to produce helpful emotions. It is not just distraction, it's proactive healing. Instead of waiting for your mood to improve, you start with an action, and your mood follows. Often the effects are drastic. Even taking a small, mundane step like doing a chore, cleaning your room, or getting out of bed can lead to vast improvements in your life if you build upon each step slowly. This is not simply warp magic or chaos tomfoolery. It is a highly studied and scientifically validated method of treatment for depression and all sorts of other mental health challenges, and it can work phenomenally well.
So the mind is connected to the body, and when we act, we feel different. Very clever.
Yes, but where does Warhammer 40k come in?
You see, my friends, this hobby is a perfect vehicle for behavioral activation. All aspects of its enjoyment are directly applicable to the principles of this psychological technique. First, there is the artistic side, using your hands to create an army of miniatures from the ground up, assembling, painting, detailing. It requires focus, creativity, and patience. Every brushstroke becomes an act of purpose. Even if your models look like they were painted by an orc using his tooth as an airbrush, the act itself is what matters. You are creating something with your hands. You are moving, thinking, shaping. And that, brave traveler, is behavioral activation in its purest form.
So even if I paint my space marines with googly eyes, it still counts as progress?
Aye, Tome. The quest is not for perfection. It is for engagement. Even a poorly painted model is better than no model at all. And as you improve, you'll find a sense of mastery creeping in. And that is a crucial element of behavioral activation and mental well-being.
But Wizard, you never answered my question about the darkness of 40k's storytelling. Surely behavioral activation doesn't apply to that. Don't forget the whole feeding thousands of people to a psychic corpse every day just to keep the lights on. Doesn't exactly sound like a real mood booster to me.
An astute observation, Tome. It is true that a superficial reading of the premise of Warhammer 40k's universe might sound disturbing to many. But here lies the twist. For all its darkness, Warhammer 40k is deeply, intentionally hilarious. It is satire. Its grimness is so extreme, so over the top, that it crosses into the realm of absurd comedy. It is a universe where brave heroes killed on the battlefield are ground into edible corpse starch just to keep the war machine turning. Where a soldier might save his entire regiment by uncovering a demonic cult, only to be rewarded with torture during his inquisitorial interrogation, just to be on the safe side that he actually was loyal to the Emperor. It is, in truth, a parody of fascism, war, and unchecked fanaticism.
Oh, I do love a good satire. Grimdark with a wink and a nudge.
Exactly. And this self-aware absurdity makes the darkness not just bearable, but fun. It allows us to laugh in the face of despair, to revel in the chaos, to find light in the darkness. And this pairs with behavioral activation by the immersion of oneself in the storytelling of 40k through its novels. Reading itself is a balm for the mind, an active form of consuming content that engages the imagination. It is worlds apart from doom-scrolling or passive entertainment. You lose yourself in the stories, yes, but by reading, you are stimulating your brain in the process. And there is certainly a unique sense of satisfaction gained from turning the final page of a thick book, a feeling of accomplishment that reflects the power of behavioral activation.
But what about the tabletop battles? I like those the most. Do they apply to behavioral activation?
Absolutely. Building an army list, devising tactics, rolling dice. It demands critical thinking and purposeful action. But most importantly, it requires you to leave your lair and venture forth into the world, to seek out meaningful connection by meeting fellow hobbyists at game shops or tournaments, to share stories and strategies. The social aspect alone can break the chains of loneliness, for there is magic in community, even if that community smells faintly of paint and, well, let's call it musty enthusiasm.
So the battlefield becomes a place to connect, not just to conquer.
Precisely. And that sense of community can be felt from any aspect of the hobby: the tabletop, the painting, the lore. In your local area, you might find not only gaming clubs, but painting groups or 40k book clubs. Connecting with the 40k community in any of these realms is sure to bring you the benefits of behavioral activation. And with the advent of social media, finding that community is easier than ever before. You need only to look and take the first step of reaching out. For truly, there is perhaps nothing better for the mind than finding companionship and sharing beloved experiences with other like-minded people.
Alas, who knew that waging endless war could be so wholesome?
Ah, a happy paradox indeed, my feathered friend, and one worth embracing. For in the darkest of days, we can still find light. Through connection, through creativity, through shared passion. So, brave travelers, it is true. Warhammer 40k can be profoundly good for your mental health. It keeps your hands busy, your mind sharp, and your heart connected. It transforms the GRIMDARK into a celebration of creativity, community, and purpose.
Hoo-wee, I can't wait to get a hold of some of that gray plastic. I think I might try Black Templars. Ooh, or maybe a little bit of heretical Thousand Suns. Oh, or maybe the Tau. They seem like fun.
Ha ha, pace yourself, Tome. Regardless of what you choose, remember the most important thing. Just take the first step. That will lead you on the path of behavioral activation and mental wellness. So, go forth, fellow hobbyists. Embrace your creativity, challenge your mind, and know that even in the grim darkness of the far future, your hobby can be a beacon of hope. If this message of arcane wisdom has stirred your spirit, I beseech thee, strike the like button as though it were a goblin's skull, and consider subscribing to this channel so that our paths may cross again.